Hey, hi. So today we are going to talk about the job prospect of a full stack developer compared to a backend developer. What is the what are the what I can say which is a better option for you to follow or to pursue as a career option or as a job path when you're looking for to get a job as a software developer. So, so should you go for full stack development, start your roadmap journey and start working on that thing, or should you go for a backend developer profile and you should make a roadmap, choose a technology and work on that. So what you should choose and why? So I will give my opinion and my suggestion, and then it's up to you what you want to choose. Okay, so let's start. Full stack, as you know, right now we have full stack is nothing but a combination of front end as well as back end. Okay, so two parts involved. One is a UI development plus back end is involved. Okay, let me give you an example. For example, suppose somebody is working in the front end, uh, the company will say, okay, I need an Angular skill in the front end. In the back end, I need Python or Java or .NET. Okay, whatever. This is one of the stack. Then they can say, okay, no, I want front end React, back end as Node.js. Okay, it can be a variety of combination. Front end is completely independent from back end. So this is these are Angular, React. These are popular front end frameworks, and this Java, Python nodes are now used in back end development very heavily. So this is your back end. Back end is basically your API, or we can say a REST API interface. So whether you go with any technology, whether it's a Java, .NET, Python, Go language, any other technology doesn't matter. You're going to build the REST API and backend. Similarly, in UI, it will be the single page application, which is known as SPA. Okay, so it is mostly JavaScript based framework in the front end. In backend, it is REST API. Now, if you go for backend, then obviously you have to only focus on making the REST APIs. Forget about everything. Okay, same thing which I'm okay, and then you can use Java, .NET, same thing. Java, .NET, Python, Node. So these are the four most popular, we can say, technologies in the backend. Job openings are also huge in all these four. You can choose either of one, not an issue. Yeah, you can go for that thing. But my point or the topic here is, should you go for full stack in the starting if you want to get a job or you're looking to upskill and find a better job? Should you go for full stack or backend? Now, what definitely I will suggest to freshers, especially if you're a fresher. Okay. Uh, See, it depends. If you're a fresher and you are still, I will say in college, you are during your second year, third year, still you have not passed out. You're still exploring the things you want to see how technology works. Okay. So if you're that kind of fresher who wants to explore how technology works, how to make a web application using a front end and back end, then definitely you can go for a full stack development. You can learn, let's suppose in the front end React, back end Node.js, or Angular in the front end, back end Java, Python, whatever you want. You can explore that thing because you don't have to be master at that thing, and you can it's fine for learning purpose and for knowledge. If you want to have, you can go and see how does it look like. Okay, so I will advise this is for from the knowledge perspective. You have an interest, you want to explore this thing, how does a web application works, or how suppose you want to make a mobile app as a for a college project. Then you have to know how this front end work, back end works. You have to know both. Correct? You can't just make a mobile application or a web-based application just by knowing front end or just by knowing back end. You have to know both. So from that point of view, you can go for this both the technologies, but there you have a leverage that if you're building a college project, that time you have multiple people who can take part in doing things. So it becomes easier. or you can offload your we can say the stress and uh, the heavy load among your peers. But here I am talking from a job point of view. So this is when I say okay, go for a backend, it will be easier. I'm thinking from company point of view. If you apply for a job as a fresher, what does company look for? Definitely, companies also look for a full stack profile. But it is good for to go for a full stack profile as a fresher if you have a time. Let's suppose you say, okay, I have a 1 year of time. I want to invest 1 year, okay, for full time or part time to learn front end, back end. I make some projects. You have time, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years. Then you go for you can go for full stack. You because you have time, okay, because there are a lot of things to learn. Takes time. Then you can go for this thing. But if already you're passed out, you're looking for a job, you know basics of programming, and now you want to pursue development, okay, and you're interested in Java or .NET or Python, these things, and you want a good job, good opportunity to start your career, then I will suggest go for backend, because backend is that half of your work is like finished, like vanished, just like that. You don't have to worry about this UI and all those things. What is Angular? How does it work? What is React? Basic things you still need to know, like how does HTML work? What is HTTP protocol? How does it work? Because if you don't know that, then how do you do the authentication? Like whether the user is authenticated or not, whether you will allow your API to like somebody with a proper authentication details to hit or not. So basic things you need to know about how this HTTP protocol works, how does request response happens. Okay, so let's suppose a request will come from the UI. How does it comes? How did the response go back? Authentication and all those things you have to know. So basics of but as a developer, your primary responsibility is making the REST API in these technologies. So language wise, you don't have to learn a different language. For example, if in backend you are working on Python or .NET is C Sharp language or Java, in front end you have to go and learn JavaScript or TypeScript. Okay, so it is a double the work because you have to now know two different language. But if you're working only as a backend developer, only the good thing is that you have to know only the uh, one language, whether it is Python or .NET or Java, or if you're going for Node, then JavaScript. That is the advantage of Node.js because then the same JavaScript can be used in the Angular and React. So that is the advantage if you go for Node. Then you don't have to learn a new language. Okay, but from other three, you have to go and learn the different language, which is also advanced. JavaScript is also not so simple, and especially you're going for React and Angular and all those like single page application. These are advanced. You have to go deep dive into that language. It's not like you will know only the basics, and no, you have to go deep dive. So it takes time. It takes time to master those things. Okay, so that is why I always say if you're looking for a job, you have a target in mind. Okay, I want to get a job in next 6 months. I want to transition my from my support career to a developer career, and I want to move ahead with your life. Then the best thing to do is if you're looking for hardcore development technologies, like you want to learn Java, .NET, Python, and all these technologies, how to build great stuff. So the very like starting point can be go for the backend development. Okay, and this will save you a lot of your time. You can fully focus on one thing: how to make REST API, how to do authentication, how does it work. Okay, and you can save a lot of time and focus only one thing. And nowadays companies have a lot of skills. They also want, if you're a backend developer, you must know AWS also. You should also know Azure development because a lot of cloud development is going on. So if you're targeting for this thing, you have to know this also, little bit of this. And then you have to also know how CI/CD works. So CI/CD is like uh, how does uh, uh, how to deploy, how to maintain the repository, CI/CD, and all those things. So here you have to focus on these things, not just API, but apart from this, how to deploy, how to use the cloud services, basics of these things. So, and this has a great value. Companies see value in this thing. If you know development properly, coding skills, plus little bit of these basic things. Okay, what is Git and all those things. Okay, how to maintain the code repo, how to these basic things. And cloud is definitely important. Like how do you deploy, how do you push your code, CI/CD, basic things. And but this is not mandatory. If you're a fresher, you don't have to like no Git. You have to know if you're a fresher. Git is also important for a fresher. But apart from that, if you're a fresher, you have to just know basics of coding, how does REST API works, how to use along with SQL database, SQL database. So that is also important, SQL, and how to use the ORM. What is the ORM? So ORM is like this thing like that. Uh, Most of the framework like Python, .NET, Java, Node supports ORM. Like you don't have to write plain SQL queries to get your data set or update your DB. Instead, you can use ORMs. So in .NET we have Entity Framework. In Java we have Hibernate. Okay, in Python we have SQL Alchemy. There are different ORMs available. So this is also important. Like you have to understand ORM. So see, all these things takes time. So if you're going for both the things as a fresher, as a starting, if you're doing like you can't conquer everything. Okay, so full stack is in demand, but see, I will always say, tell to people that don't take emotional decision. That is the biggest mistake people do. Either you're a fresher, you are stuck in a support job, you want to come out, whatever is the reason. Okay, if you want to go for this thing, you want to take this, that is up to you. That is not, I don't have a say in that. I am just giving my opinion. It's up to you how to take it or not to take it. It's my opinion. But I will definitely suggest you to go for the backend development because it will be easier for you. You can target one language, master one language at one time, go in company, explore that thing for next over 1 or 2 years. And once you're comfortable in that thing, and if you still want to learn front end, then you can go ahead and learn front end and become a full stack. Nobody is going to stop you if you want to upgrade to a full stack. But my point is that if you want to start a career, first go for backend. Or I have also suggested in my previous video, go for front end. Like, okay, go for React development, Angular, get a job. Tomorrow you can go and learn backend development in Node.js or Python or whatever. Similarly, here also I'm just trying to say, and the salary wise also, if you go and search in job portal, this role is nowhere less than this role, or this role is nowhere having less salary than this thing. If you go, it is almost the same. Even sometimes this is paying more than this profile in some of the cases. So salary wise also you don't have to worry that okay I am learning less. No, it's not like that. You're not learning less. You're focusing on a particular area. Learning is the same because you have the same memory. You can fit limited things in your memory. So if you go for full stack, you will not master both. You will learn little bit of this, little bit of this. But if you go for one thing, you can master one thing, become better at that thing. What that is what is company looking for. Company is not looking for okay, basic things and you can't build an app. You can't build a REST API by yourself. Company is not looking for that. Company is looking for whether you're fresher, you are a freelancer, whatever you have, you want a job, we will give you a job. But show your what you have done. What you have done. Then you're stuck. Okay, I have done nothing. So don't do that thing. Okay, I understand. And if you want to go for a step, I'm not stopping, but then you have to take the time. You have to take the time. You have to make a plan that okay, let's learn Python first, and then basics thing, or let's learn Java, .NET first, and then I'll go for React. It takes time, 1 year, 2 years to become full stack. So if you have that much of time, then go for that thing. If you have less time, you want a result in 6 months or 1 year. Okay, if you want a result in 6 months to 1 year, then you can go for full stack, focus on this thing, okay, and get a job. If you go for this thing, it will take more time, definitely more time, because there are a lot of stuff to learn. So I'll leave it up to you. Only a little bit exception is I will say Node.js, because in Node.js what happens, the language which is used is JavaScript, here also JavaScript. So that will take off your some load that you do. Let's suppose you're going for Angular or React. You don't have to master JavaScript because already you have mastered JavaScript with Node.js. Okay, so that is the advantage when you go for this part. The language is the same, so it becomes easier. And a lot of companies have this opening, React plus Node. So you can go pursue if you are really want interested for full stack and you don't want to make your life worse or very tough. I will suggest to go for React and Node.js. You're very much interested in full stack rather than going directly for Python and Angular or Python or React or Java or Angular. Okay, so that is my suggestion, but ultimately you have to take your uh, final call. But definitely, I'll repeat the same thing. If you're looking for a job, you have a target in mind, you want a job, see how it works in real world, then go for backend. Okay, then go for backend, do it. Just make a roadmap. What you're going to build. You have to build small projects. Some you have to go deep dive into these things and then apply for the jobs. Full stack, on the other hand, it will take more time, definitely more time, even if you're going for this React plus Node.js. Okay, so better than that, you can only focus on Node.js first and get a job if possible. And then once you get a job, you can definitely go and learn Angular, React, whatever you want. So I will leave it to you. This thing will not take much time because I'm repeating the same thing again. But I want to emphasize that's why I'm repeating that we have to be smart when we are, because see what happens sometimes you lose motivation. If you're trying too hard, you lose the motivation. Okay, 1 year, 2 year, after 1 year, you say, okay, if you even you 6 months is fine. If you make a target of 6 months, you can work 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you can see the results. You will get some interview calls, you can see some success there. But if you make a little bit longer target, keeping patience is the key. If you have the discipline, you can keep the patience, you have that motivation, you want to learn something, then nobody's going to stop you. It may take 1 year, 2 year. Okay, you have that, you know that thing will take time and you have that patience, then go for this thing. If you don't think you can keep patience that long, you want a result ASAP as possible, then go for backend. Then you can get the results within 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Go to a job, start doing the job, you will become better. Once you start doing them, then you can pivot, you can improvise what. Okay, so this thing I will leave it. If you have any questions, you can comment it or you can contact me also. So I'm available on LinkedIn also. I'm available on Quora also. I'm active on both the platform. So okay, with this thing, I will stop this thing and thank you for watching.